Hey everyone, this is Jack. I'm going to do a quick trade review video. I called it a day a little early today. I'm kind of tired. It's Friday, it's the end of the week. I've had a really good week. I've had a really good couple of weeks. And I can tell that, I've done well. So that's good enough for me. And I don't need to push it. So I figured I'd do something. I want to do a trade review here. And I also do think I want to make some more videos for my YouTube channel, but most of all, I want to make stuff that is helpful for other people. So I don't want to just, make videos for the sake of making them. It's one thing for me to practice and get some benefit from it, but if I'm sharing it with people that are watching, I'd really like you to get some benefit from it. So if you don't mind, let me know in the comments what kind of things you're struggling with right now, or what kind of things might be helpful for you at your stage of your journey right now, and I'll see if I can put together some helpful videos for you. So I'll do a trade review here, and then maybe talk a little bit about my week. And I wanted to start with the weekly chart. Make the bars a little bit bigger for you so it's easier to see. Not much to see with the weekly chart. We've been in a strong trend, obviously. Even less important is the monthly chart. I say it's less important because you just know that this is in a strong bull trend on the higher time frames. It doesn't matter necessarily, looking at this on August 7th, we don't really need to look at the monthly chart, but it's interesting. We have a strong bull trend. We got a deep pullback here, a big reversal, tested that breakout point, found buyers. We've rallied super strong. We pulled back again to test this breakout point, and now we're breaking out again. We had a couple of months sideways to down, but big tails below the bars, and we have an open gap. I'm sure everybody can see it. I don't even need to draw it, but there it is. We have an open gap here, so there's no reason to think about selling. There's no reason to sell above this high, expecting it to retest that high. We may not even retest it. Nothing much to talk about. Weekly chart, we had a triangle. We had a couple of legs sideways to down, but we're in a bull trend overall. So we're going to find buyers with every new low that we get. We can see the gap a little bit more clearly here. We're rallying from a double bottom and a pretty good buy signal bar. So bears tried to get a trend down. They failed. Obviously, they will continue to fail. And we're rallying, so no surprise there. Daily chart, a little bit more interesting. Daily chart, a little bit more interesting. Here's the recent rally, spiking channel, parabolic wedge, doesn't matter. We had a little micro double top here. We got a pretty big sell-off here that created a trading range that lasted for the next month or two. And we had a triangle here. We tried to break out to the upside, failed. We got a little double top, and we got a wedge bull flag. Maybe you can draw it something like this. Doesn't really matter. But with every new low that we're getting, we're finding buyers. We sold off aggressively, big gap up. We broke out below that and rallied to a new minor high, pulled back. Every new low that we're getting, we're finding buyers. That's because we're in a bull trend on the higher time frames. So when we got this big sell-off bar, I knew that we would find buyers at and below. Bulls would be buying that close and scaling it more lower, hoping that it goes below there because they'd be able to buy at an even better price. But they didn't get the chance because we got a big gap up and follow through, a pullback, and now we're getting another new breakout. This is this week. Today is Friday, so here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think that's Tuesday. We had a very strong acceleration bar to a new all-time high, and that attracted profit taking. We have a pretty decent looking sell signal bar here, and it's got some follow through. Yesterday, we had a small trending trading range bear trend day, more of a trending trading range with a bear tone. Doesn't matter. We got a strong reversal bar with some follow through, which means that today there may be sellers above yesterday's high. But more likely there are buyers at and below this bar, and we'll probably look for a retest up into this area. Probably we'll find more profit taking, but probably whatever low we get is going to be bought, and this rally will probably get a second leg up, and we'll start to do something like this. Maybe not quite that strong. Maybe more like something like this, a little bit more controlled. So coming into the day, just looking at this chart, I knew that in the Globex session we had a pretty decent sized gap up, and I thought it was likely that we would hesitate at yesterday's high and try to sell off, but I thought that it was very likely that we would find buyers at and below yesterday's close and yesterday's low. That's because we have such a strong trend up. We're in a high time frame bull trend, and we have a very strong rally for the last week or so. And this reversal is not going to be enough to undo this rally. I mean, we could get something surprising like this, but I think that's a lower probability event. And if it happens, then you just trade it as you see it. But the way that I see this chart, this makes me think that it's a pullback and will rally to the all-time high soon. We may hesitate and go sideways. Maybe we get an outside bar that's a doji, or we have, a bull bar that's kind of hanging out in this area, or a bear bar, or something that's hanging out down here. I think it's more likely we'll find buyers and try to rally at some point. Here's the Globex chart. So this is what I was looking at coming into the market today. To me, here's the end of the session yesterday. I see a trading range. I got a tight bull channel, strong breakout up, but it became exhaustive and climactic. So therefore, when we got this big bear bar coming into the open of the day, I thought it was very likely that because we have this bear bar, we'll probably pull back and the bears will try to get a second leg down. But because of how strong this momentum is up, how strong this trend is up, we'll probably find buyers at and below this bar, scaling in lower. And if we do get down here, I imagine we have support down here. So very likely for me that we'll get some sort of trading range price action on the open, maybe all day. Probably sellers not that far above here. I don't know that we do something like this, but very likely sellers up here in a hesitation. Maybe we try to channel higher and continue this momentum up today. I think that's probably most likely what's going to happen. 60-minute chart. And this is what I do every day, by the way. I just talk to myself and look at the market and try to understand what it wants to do. Hourly chart, day session chart. The bears had their chance. We had a strong trend down, sideways, another strong trend down, pretty big reversal up, and then an exhaustive climax late in a bear trend led to profit taking, and we're getting a strong breakout up. But this is extremely climactic and parabolic, so it's natural to get some profit taking. We have a two-legged move down, maybe a wedge bull flag here, holding above the moving average, and now we're getting a big gap up with follow-through on the open today. But without seeing that, just looking at this, I'm thinking that, the bears are doing okay, but they're not doing great. We're still above the moving average. We haven't even touched it. So it's very likely that we'll touch it. But if we do touch it, probably we'll find buyers and try to test back up into this area. The start of the channel for the bears is right here. So I think that is a likely test target. But at a minimum, I knew that we were gapping above this area of resistance here. So I think at a minimum, this is the target for the bulls, possibly up to that high there. So that's what I was thinking coming into the market from the hourly chart. And then I don't really look at the 15-minute chart or the 100 seconds chart coming into the session. I just use that while I'm trading. So here's the first bar of the day on the 5-minute chart. Let me make it even a little bit bigger, so that it's very easy for you to see. I also want it to look good to me. Hopefully you're okay with that. So a pretty big gap up. We're gapping above yesterday's trading range. Let me see, where is yesterday's high? Is it plotted yet? You know what? I didn't add it to the chart yet. Give me 1 second. Let me add that. Okay, yesterday's high is right here. It might be hard for you to see. And the Globex high is way up here. And the Globex low is way down here. So we have a pretty big range in the Globex session. And anytime you have a pretty big range in the Globex session, I think it's always interesting to know where the middle is, because it's very likely that if we've rallied in the Globex session and we're pulling back, how close to the middle are we, and what are we doing around the middle? So because we're around the middle and we have the bull bar, I expect there to be a bullish tone overall. Probably buyers here at and below, but it's the open of the day. Probably we'll form a trading range and get a reversal down. So no surprise when we got 2, but a big tail. Probably buyers down here, probably sellers above. It's trading range open, no surprise. Bar 3, impressive, but a lot of overlap here. I imagine we pull back. So not a good idea to be buying the close of 3, probably sellers not far above. And look at this. We tested the high of yesterday to the tick. So that's probably important as well. We broke above yesterday's high, pulled back. We have a pretty big bar. This bar is almost as big as the prior bar. So that's pretty strong. You know, despite the big tail on the bottom of the bar, this is actually really good for the bears. It's a good indication of a couple of things. First of all, we have no consecutive bars. That means that the bulls aren't as strong as they could be. We have bar 2 and 4 almost the same size as the bull bars that came before them. And that's a sign of strength by the bears and a sign of weakness by the bulls. And then based on the depth of the pullback with each of these bars, you know, the bears are covering a lot of ground here. That tells me that we're going higher probably to find sellers and for bulls to take profit. So I'm thinking that we're going to get an opening reversal down that goes below the low of the day. Maybe we find buyers down there. We're right around the midpoint of the Globex session. But remember all the context that we just discussed. You know, with the Globex session being the way that it is, it's possible we get a move down. Likely buyers down here, but it's very possible that we get a sustained move down. So I was waiting for that if it were to occur. We have a bull bar, but it's 3 pushes up. This could be a second leg trap. We may find sellers at and above for an opening reversal down. And then we have bar 6. Bar 6 is good information. Bar 6 tells you that the bears are strong, willing to sell, and the bulls don't have much conviction. Otherwise, we would have rallied above 5, we would have rallied above 4, but we didn't. We have a gap up. It's not that big. Increases the odds that we go sideways today and have a lot of trading range price action. We do have strength by the bulls. 1 and 3 are strong, but I think that the bears may be stronger. We're almost below the open of the day, so it's very likely that we're going to get some sort of move down, possibly looking to test the close of yesterday down here. But not a good bar to be selling the close. It's reasonable to sell the close here because the tail may be all the pullback that you get. But if that's the case, you got to be quick to scalp out if you get a quick move in your favor. Otherwise, based on the overlap that we've had so far, it's very likely that we'll get a pullback into the range of 6. So we get a pullback into the range of 6. I do not enter on the pullback, though I should have. That would have been the best entry to take here. Instead, I wait for 7 to close with some strength, and I sell the close of bar 7. I sold the close of bar 7 because for me, this is a strong enough leg 1 move that even if it's a trading range, it's very likely to get a pullback and a second leg down that exceeds the extreme of this bar. I should have entered on the pullback on 7, and I should have entered on the pullback of 8 instead of selling the close of 7 because I know that there's so much overlap here, it's very unlikely that we'll produce a bar without much overlap. And for that reason, it's better to look for any pullback to sell. Even selling a small pullback would have been better than selling the close here. But it's still okay. It is a high probability sell because it's very likely that we'll get a move down. But because we're hesitating right here below the low of the day, we have a micro double bottom with 8, not a very good buy signal bar, likely sellers above. I'm willing to hold short, but I'm looking to scalp out because this is disappointing. It did not accelerate down very quickly like I wanted it to do, which is why I sold the close. We have enough momentum here that leads me to believe that we could accelerate down. And that's what I wanted to have happen. But because that didn't happen and we're hesitating here, I'm not willing to hold for very long. This bar right here, bar 8, is 7.5 points big. So that's my actual risk on this trade, and I'm willing to scalp out around my actual risk for the trade because it's not doing what I want it to do. So when we get bar 9, I scalp out at the low of 9. I actually got filled almost at the low tick of 9. I think the second to last low tick of bar 9. And I did that because I decided that for me, I'm good to scalp out for about 8 points. So I believe my exit was almost exactly 8 points, if not 8.5 points below my entry price there. And just a quick second on position sizing and taking profits, the way that I think about it. I entered a small position here, anticipating a very big, quick move. I did not enter with my full position size, and I could have added on during 8, but I thought if we got a pullback, it would be better to sell above 7 or sell above 6 rather than sell the small pullback on 8. But for me as a scalper, I'm not a swing trader. I'm looking at the market here. We could produce a swing down, but I don't know. To me, I'm a scalper. I'm betting on a high probability short-term move that lasts for a few bars. And if I'm scaling in, I'm only doing it because the context still supports the trade thesis. So for me, I'm scalping out here because this was the high probability move that I expected. And now the move is over, I'm going to look for something else to do. Even if we get continuation here, that's fine. That's somebody else's trade. It's not my trade. For me, the risk reward here made sense with the probability. So I scalped out there, and now I'm waiting to do something else. Then we get bar 10. It's a good thing that I did scalp out because I would have been pretty upset and disappointed with bar 10. It's a 22-point bar, by far the biggest bar of the day, increases the odds that we go up. Probably we go above the high of the day. It's reasonable to buy the close. I did not because the risk is so big and we could have a deep pullback. So it's better to look for a pullback to buy. We're clearly probably always in long. The bears may have a wedge bottom, and so therefore we're probably always in long, and this is good evidence to support that as well. So for me, I'm looking for a pullback. We're probably always in long. This isn't enough of a pullback for me, so I did not buy, and I'm not buying the close here. Why are we stalling like this at the high of the day and yesterday's high? We have a couple of magnets above that I imagine we're going to test. And for me, I was also looking for a measured move up of this bar, which takes us up here. Is it 60% chance or more that we're going to get there? Right now, maybe. But I need to see more. And now, yes, I think it's pretty likely that we'll get back up there. I did not buy the close of 12, but I am interested in buying on a pullback because probably we'll get up here. Maybe not. We're at a swing point on a higher time frame here. We're at the Globex high right here, where we had aggressive selling that led us all the way to the low of the day so far. So we may find more sellers and profit taking up here. We do not have to get to this measured move target, but I think the context is pretty good for getting a second leg up at a minimum. I just had a brain fart. So this is a big, small, big. It's probably going to get a second leg down, or excuse me, a pullback and a second leg up. So I'm looking for a pullback, and I'm willing to take a small pullback because we've broken out far enough above this this high right here that if we pull back a bit, we may test this swing point, we may test that breakout point, and we'll probably find buyers, and we'll probably exceed the high of the current bar. But I'm willing to scale in more if we continue to pull back. So I get long after we test this swing point and bounce a little bit. I get a fill a little bit above that price. And then we get a bear bar. Tail below the bar. Probably we're going to get a second leg down, but probably there's going to be buyers below and below this bar as well. So I'm willing to scale in more. But I enter with a decent sized position because there's a risk that we accelerate up after this pullback because there's significant acceleration in the market here. Maybe we get a third push up. We don't have to, but I'm prepared for that with a better position size if that happens. And I'm also prepared with this position size to scale in more if need be. Unless the bears get something surprisingly strong against this trend, I expect this reversal down to fail. And bar 14 looks pretty good. I scale in again below 12 around the close of 10 near the end of this bar. And this bar was doing a lot of hesitating. It's also a pretty good sized tail below this bar as well. So I'm thinking that we'll probably get a pullback and a second leg down because of the momentum, but probably this reversal is still likely to fail. We'll probably at a minimum retest the high close up here, if not exceed the high. And because we're getting this strong move down, and because of this trading range price action here, we may not make it to that measured move target. So for me, I'm less worried about that measured move target. Now I'm more concerned about at least testing back up to here, because this is a bit more momentum and strength down than what I would like to see. I would like to see bigger tails, less movement down, and I would like to see breakout points holding. But so far today, breakout points are not holding. All the breakout points through here have closed, and the bulls have a breakout gap between this high and this low, but that may close if today is going to be a trading range day or some variant like a reversal day or something like that. And because the bears and the bulls are equally pretty strong here, bulls stronger at the moment, very likely that the bears will create a meaningful reversal down that probably tests back down to here at some point today, because this is not typical behavior for bull trends that last most of the day. But okay, we bounced. We're at the moving average. We're still always in long. To me, I hold. We get a doji bull bar. Bad for the bears. Probably buyers below, so I'm willing to hold. And then 16, follow through for the bulls. Good, but tail and closing inside of this range, not ideal, but broke out enough above this swing point that leads me to believe that we'll get a pullback and some more follow through. Very likely to get back up here. We pulled back, found buyers below 16 on 17. We got a bear bar, but it's got a big tail below. That's good for me, good for the bulls, bad for the bears. We retested the low close on 14, bounced. Very likely that we'll test up into this area soon. And then 18, we get a pretty good looking bull bar. This could be a two-legged pullback for the bears, looking for a second leg down from the 13, 14 sell-off. It could be some sort of micro wedge bear flag. Unlikely. More likely, this is a complex channel in this spike and channel bull trend, and very likely to test up here very soon. We get another pullback, and I still believe that my premise is valid. I don't think that it's going to fail and make a lower high here, so I add on to my position to take advantage of the probability here, expecting the move up here where I'm looking to take profits. I don't have my quite a full position size here. This really isn't a very good scale, and if anything, I should have bought more below 16, or I should have bought more on the test of the 16 close with this pullback. But you know what? Not terrible. And this also speaks to my feelings and health for the day. I feel a little tired, so probably I'm not going to continue trading after this trade is over for that reason. And then we get 20. We get a small little bull bar. How come we didn't test up here? Why do we have this little bull bar here? It's leg 3. That's a problem. If we're in a trading range, we're going to find sellers not very far above bar 20. So for me, I scalp out around the high close. I think I got a fill just a little bit inside of the high close, because for me, this rally should have exceeded this trend high on 20. I don't like 20. And we went below 20 after I got out. So that tells me that the bulls are not doing enough here to sustain this trend, and we're probably going to get a meaningful reversal down. We'll probably get back down to here at some point soon. And as I'm recording this video, we're getting this strong move down, and I was kind of anticipating that to happen shortly after I got out here, because to me, this is enough selling pressure here, and this is enough hesitation and problems for the bulls here that I think it's likely we'll get some sort of midday reversal. It's 12:34 right now, and that's around the middle of the day. So it makes a lot of sense to look for a midday reversal after you get this much selling pressure and this many problems for the bulls. But that's all I did. I didn't do anything else. We ended up going higher. We would have got to my target. I was looking to make 10 points. I did not make 10 points. I could have made 10 points if I gave it another 10 minutes. But for me, the probability just wasn't there. And I've had a really good week. Really good couple of weeks. Good morning so far. Good read, but I can tell I'm tired, and I want to practice discipline. I want to practice being a professional. So I'm just gonna close it out, call it a day, and say, you know what? I've had a really good run, and I want to just rest and recharge, and come back at it strong on Monday. But anyway, yeah, it looks like we are getting that midday reversal down. It looks like we're gonna have Probably not a full-on bear reversal day, but probably some sort of trending trading range day, possibly a trending trading range bull trend day. But this is enough disappointment for the bulls that we may get back down here at some point today. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Also, given the context of the daily chart, I thought it was likely we would have a trading range. So anyway, I might talk a little bit more just about my progress overall so far, and give you some motivation to think about here. Give me just a second here to think about that. All right, yeah, so I think that's all I want to share today. I can tell you that, it doesn't take much to make a pretty reasonable return as a day trader. And, this isn't even that great of trading, really. I could have done a lot better here, as I talked about. So I guess I just want to give you some motivation to tell you that you don't need to be very great to make a pretty good return. What you're looking at right here just today is a 5% return on my trading account today. I've made 5%. I had 4 trades, and I was risking a little bit more than 1% per trade because I've studied my system, and 1% risk, even 2% risk isn't bad. So, what you're looking at, it's not even that great. I could do a lot better, and probably you can do a lot better. Maybe you did do a lot better today. But, you don't have to do very much to make a pretty good return. I mean, if you do the math, what account size do you need to be happy with a 5% return on the day? I traded for about an hour, maybe. That's pretty dang good for, an hour of work. Now, of course, that's years in the making. I've been working on this with all my heart, basically for the last 3 years or so, 3.5 years. And I still have so much work to do and improvement to do. But I guess I just want to motivate you and tell you that you don't need to be great. You just need to be good. You just need to be consistently good. This isn't great. This, this entry on 19, that's not even very good. It's reasonable. It's good enough. At least I'm being consistent, or I'm trying my best to be consistent. It's difficult to think quickly, make decisions consistently that are, but the better, the more you practice, the more deliberately and diligently that you practice, the better that you'll get. And so, yeah, I just want to say, keep going, don't give up, and you don't even have to be very good. You just need to be good, So yeah, I'll do more updates like this every now and then, but yeah, tell me in the comments, please. Where are you at? What's been going on with you? What do you think about all of this? Did you trade better? Anything? Yeah, I'll start thinking about more projects, videos to record and such. So let me know. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.